Hello everyone, my name's Jake and welcome back to my channel. It is March 30th, which means in 2 days the O.W.L.S readathon starts. Don't ask me what O.W.L stands for, I've only read the first two. Outstanding, Wizarding. Yeah, I don't know. So we're not going to talk about that anymore. So this is a readathon hosted by Book Roast. It started last year. Let me just say, she has put so much effort into this readathon. She made a whole like magazine brochure type thing going over all the careers and classes and everything for the readathon, and it's like 30 pages or something, and it is excellent. So go subscribe to her. I will put her down below. You guys probably already know who she is. Icons only. I'm just going to be talking about my TBR for that this month. I don't know if you guys can see it, but I have a huge like notch bump thing right on my end of my eyebrow right there. Oh, it's huge. At work today, I was putting together a rocking chair, and one of the rockers on the bottom, I was trying to push it in place, and it like moved, like came off, so it like smashed into my eye, and it really hurt. The career I chose to go for this year is the Mind Healer. No, just kidding. It's called Mind Medic. That's what I'm doing. I was going to be the Alchemist because I wanted to be a bad bitch and try and do all the challenges, which I'm going to be doing all the challenges regardless, but so I decided not to do that though, because I just didn't, like, the actual career itself just didn't sound like something I wanted to do at this time, at least this year. So I went with the Mind Medic instead, because that shit sounds great. I wanted to go into psychology, and this is like the closest thing to that there was, so here I am. But the Mind Medic pretty much is someone that helps bring balance to people's minds. They heal their mind, I guess, as a Mind Medic. Yeah, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through all 12 of the prompts, tell you what I chose for that prompt, and then I'll let you know whether that is something I specifically need to read for my career or not. There's 4 that I don't need to read for my career, but I'm going to be using them anyways. March was not a good reading month. I read like 7 things, so we really need to pull this shit out in April. Anyways, let me get into it, because I'm already rambling. First is Ancient Runes, and that is to read a retelling. I'm not really sure if this is considered a retelling, but for that I chose Catherine of Aragon, The True Queen by Alison Weir. This is a series that follows the 6 Tudor queens, which are the 6 wives that were married to Henry VIII. I recently became obsessed with Six the Musical, which is a musical about them. So I wanted to read Alison Weir's series about all of them, and this is the first one. Like I said, I'm not sure if this is considered a retelling. It's a work of fiction about the first queen's life, so I guess it's technically a retelling? I don't know. We're gonna count it, so whatever. But yeah, I'm really excited to read this, and yeah, I don't know why I feel so weird today. Like, I feel like this isn't bright, but then here I am, like, squinting. What am I talking about? I don't know. Moving on. This is one of the books that goes towards my career. The second prompt is Heiress Missy, and that is to read a book with 2 or more authors. I will be reading Illuminae by Jay Kristoff and Amy Kaufman this month. For those of you that don't know, myself and Olivia over at Olivia Reads a Latte are doing a read-along. It's called the Kristoffathon, so we're going to be reading from April to June, we're going to be reading the Illuminae trilogy, 1 book a month, and then from July to September, we're going to be reading the Nevernight Chronicles, a book a month. So this is the first book in that, and I obviously need to read it because, you know, it's my read-along. So I will be reading that for this prompt. You guys probably know what this follows. I really actually don't know what this follows. All I know is it's like a worn space or something. It sounds really good. I just never read it. I'm going to listen to this on audio while physically reading it because I've heard that's the best way to go about it. So that's what I'm going to do. But if you want to know more about a read-along, I will link the video down below. That last one also counts towards my career. So the third one is Astronomy, and it's a book with star in the title. This one does not go towards my career, but I chose The Sun is Also a Star by Nicola Yoon. This follows a love story that takes place over 1 day, I believe, and the girl is being deported the next day, I think, maybe. I don't own this book yet. I actually picked it out from Book of the Month this month, so it'll be coming within the next week or 2. I want to read it as soon as possible. I read Everything by her, and I didn't care for it that much. I gave it a 3 out of 5 stars. I didn't think it was that great. Still haven't watched the movie for that one, but hopefully I like The Sun is Also a Star more. I wanted to read it before the movie came out, and I'm not even sure when the movie comes out. But now I'll be able to go see it if I actually read it this month, which I need to. Prompt number 4 is Care for Magical Creatures, and that is to read a book with a land animal on the cover. I chose Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief, the illustrated edition by Rick Riordan. If you can see, there is a lion right there. I mean, I know it's technically not like a lion. It's a lion. It's a lion. So this is a reread. As for those of you that don't know, Percy Jackson is one of my all-time favorite series. It probably is my favorite series of all time. So I'm going to reread it and finally move on to the Heroes of Olympus series, because I still haven't even read the first book in that, and this is my favorite series. So that's the plan with that one. I'm going to reread this book this coming month, and I'm going to try and read all 4 of the other ones in May, but we'll see. Prompt number 5 is Charms, and it is to read an adult book. So I'll be reading this behemoth. This does go towards my career, by the way. So The Priory of the Orange Tree by Samantha Shannon. It is 830 pages. You all know about it. You've seen it all over book Twitter. Everyone's talking about Priory of the Orange Tree. I actually started this like on the 1st of March. I don't know if you can see, but I have it quite tabbed up. I'm only 65 pages in, but I had like 2 readathons 2 weeks in a row last month, so I put this down and I just never picked it back up. So I'm going to finish it in April. Pretty much start it too, because like I said, I'm only 65 pages in, so I got a lot left, like 770 pages still to read. So, we're going to get through it. I'm really enjoying it so far, like really enjoying it. I'm tabbing, but I'm also taking notes in a separate notebook to kind of keep up with what's happening. But I do think this is a good like adult book for YA readers to get into. Most of you guys are already reading it or want to read it anyways, but let me tell you, it's really good so far. So yeah, I'll be hopefully finishing this shit. Number 6 is Defense Against the Dark Arts, and it is to read a book with a title that starts with the letter R. But this goes towards my career as well, and I'll be reading Rooms by Lauren Oliver. There was, back in like November or December, I put a book outlet order in for a bunch of horror books, because horror is my genre. That being said, I have, like, since I started BookTube, I have not been reading a lot of horror books, so I kind of want to start a new series on my channel in which I read obscure horror novels, or even just normal horror novels. Kind of like, you know how Lala does 3 Thriller Thursday, or whatever it's called? I want to do that with horror. Something similar to it, but I don't know what I'm going to do with that. Anyways, so Rooms by Lauren Oliver. From what I know, this follows a family in which they move into a mansion. The ex-wife moves into her ex-husband's mansion because he passed away and left the inheritance to her and her 2 kids, a son and a daughter. They move into this house and find out that there's 2 ghost children living there as well. And I guess they're trying to survive or whatever's happening. Like I said, I don't know much about this. It's pretty short. I have heard bad things about it. I don't think I saw many good reviews for it, but I'm going to give it a try anyways because I like ghost stories. Hopefully it's not just, I don't know. I probably won't like it, but I really like the cover, so I'm going to hope for the best. So prompt number 7 is Divination, and is to read a book set in the future. So for that, I will be reading Cinder by Marissa Meyer. I have already read Cinder and Scarlet, but I'm going to reread both of them before I continue the series because it's been a while. I read this back in like 2015, so I'm due for a reread. The issue with this series is I really enjoyed Cinder. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. Scarlet took me, I think, a year to finish, and I gave it 3 out of 5 stars, and I only really liked the last chunk of it. So I'm hoping maybe I'll enjoy Scarlet more. Looking back, I feel like Scarlet was a better book. I don't know why I feel that way, because I know it's not. But we'll see. So I've already read like chapter 1 of this, but I decided to wait until this month to read it. So number 8 is Herbology, and it is to read a book with a plant on the cover. So for this one, I will be reading, what am I reading for that? I'll be reading The Devouring Gray by Christine Lynn Herman. So this is one of my pre-orders for the month. I don't even remember what this is about at all. But I remember, like, I read the synopsis and I was like, oh shit, that sounds really good. So obviously I want to read it, but what it's about, it is leaving my mind. But there's trees on the cover, so that's a plant, so it counts. Okay, thanks, bye. Number 9 is History of Magic, and for that, it is a book published at least 10 years ago. I'll be reading Carrie by Stephen King. You've seen this on quite a few TBRs now. I've already read Carrie back in June of last year, so almost a year ago. Wow. Might have been July. Who gives a fuck? I'm not even going to talk about my Stephen King series. It's happening. Trust. It is happening. I just need to force myself to read this again. I literally started reading it already. I have my tabbing system all decided because I do different tabbing systems for most books. And I read like 30 pages and tabbed it up, but then I got mad and like, that's great. So I ended up getting mad and ripping all the tabs out of it. So I even need to reread the first 30 pages now and tab them back up because I'm a dumb bitch. I'm reading Carrie this month. It's happening. I'm literally getting so upset with myself. This book wasn't even that bad. It was a 3-star. I don't know why I don't want to read it, but I need to just push through and read it so I can continue on to Stephen King's other stuff. I need to do it. Number 10 is Muggle Studies, and the prompt for that is to read a contemporary. So I'll be reading Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This is getting very mixed reviews. The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo is a book that I've heard like nothing bad about. So the fact that this is getting mixed reviews is kind of making me nervous. This is set in the late 60s, and it follows a girl pretty much living just a life during that time period. Like with the sex, drugs, rock and roll, you know, all that kind of thing. I'm assuming there's romance in here. I don't know, but the 60s, I don't think I've ever read a book set in the 60s, and that's like one of my favorite time periods. Like, I'm very excited to get to this because it's set in the 60s, so I'm hoping I'm in the like group that loves it, but who knows? Maybe I'll hate it. So both of these last two are also ones that go towards my career, and the first one is Potions, and it's just to read a sequel, so I'll be reading City of Ashes, the second book in the Mortal Instruments series. I had a goal to read all of Cassandra Clare's Shadowhunters books this year. I'm already failing because it's the 4th month of the year, and I'm just getting to the 2nd book. I read City of Bones twice. I reread it back in February. I just need to move on and finally continue the series. I really like the first book. There's no reason for me not to continue it, other than the fact that there's so many and that they scare me, but we're gonna read it. It's happening. And finally, the last one is Transfiguration, and it is to read a book with red on the cover or sprayed edges. And this one, I mean, I'm not cheating. I'm not really sure if the prompt is to read a book with a red cover or with red on the cover, but I chose The Wicked Saints by Emily A. Duncan. There's literally a little red blood droplet coming from the word wicked, I believe, and I think that's the only bit of red on the cover, but we're counting it because, yes, it's a loophole. I mean, it's the only one that I'm really cheating on, so cut me some slack. But yeah, I'm going to use it. This is my other pre-order. It'll be coming out the 2nd. I don't know what it's about. I once again forgot what it's about. The spine of it's completely red, so that counts too. I really wanted to read it at some point because it's in my little buy pre-order this month section of my notebook. So obviously I want to read it. Whatever it's about, I guess we'll find out when we read it. So great. So those are the 12 books I plan on reading for the Owls. I also want to read a bunch of graphic novels and manga this month. I'm going to definitely get to Again Volume 4. I'm thinking I want to reread the first 5 volumes of Saga so I can continue that series. Maybe I'll reread the first 4 volumes of Amulet. I don't know. I'm just going to kind of pick up what I feel like reading. That's my TBR for the month of April. This was probably a mess as usual. This is why I don't like doing TBRs. Like, I like setting them kind of for readathons. I don't set them usually otherwise. But I just don't do them usually because the videos are terrible, because usually I haven't read the book, and I don't really look much into synopsises of books after the first time I know what it's about, so I just pretty much look at it once. If I want to read it, I want to read it. If not, then I don't want to read it, and then I never look at it again until I read it. I know the books I want to read. What they're about, though, that's a whole nother story. But those are the books I'll be reading. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, subscribe, give me a little love, thumbs up. Comment down below if you're participating, and let me know what your career is, because I really like hearing what everyone's career is, because it's just fun to think about. Also, let me know if you'll be reading anything similar to me. But, yeah. Thank you for watching. Peace. Maybe I'll read the 2nd Harry Potter book, reread it, so I can move on to the 3rd. I don't know, bye.